What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Swagner17, and today we're going to be analyzing every single team's offensive line inside of Madden 20. If you want to learn how to utilize your favorite team's offensive line to the best of their abilities and make explosive plays like this, look at that block by number 67. You're going to want to watch this video all the way to the end, and I promise you will learn something new. So we're going to be going over every team's offensive line as a whole. We'll find out which team has the best average offensive line, which team has the best pass blocking offensive line, and which team has the best run blocking offensive line. This will give a slight advantage to whatever type of offensive scheme you use, no matter what team you like to play with. And you don't really have to have an offensive identity or a scheme, because I created an offensive scheme video a couple months ago that I will link down in the description below, which will give you some great tips to pair with this video, which will definitely boost your offensive capabilities, ultimately resulting in more wins online. So now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. So I created this Excel worksheet and organized it by every team's offensive line by position and arranged all their stats. All the important information is in red. Feel free to pause the video at any time because I'm going to spend about 15 seconds or less discussing every team because I don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long. Alright, so let's begin. Starting off with the Chicago Bears, the Bears have a pretty good offensive line, surprisingly. Their pass blocking is great, and their run blocking doesn't really have too many weaknesses. If I have one suggestion, it would be outside runs to the left. Moving on to the Bengals, they don't really have a good offensive line. I would heavily suggest not running the ball, and if you do, maybe up the middle, I don't really know. Maybe going to heavily rely on quick passes with the Bengals. Next up is the Buffalo Bills, who don't really have a good offensive line, but any inside runs towards the left, they have a pretty good center, so running towards him is good, and their pass protection isn't terrible. The Denver Broncos run blocking is obviously a lot better than their pass blocking, and honestly, I would heavily rely more on Phillip Lindsay than Joe Flacco. The Cleveland Browns, on the other hand, are kind of the opposite. Pretty bad run blocking skills, but pretty okay pass blocking skills. I don't think you really need to worry about getting sacked, but if you're going to run the ball, maybe inside zones towards the left guard and center because they're the strongest part of the line. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not so much of a good run blocking team, but you should have no worries of pass protection. You can get some quick passes off. I don't know how good Jameis Winston's going to do, though. Next up is the Arizona Cardinals, who don't have a good offensive line at all. Their only strength is the right tackle, so maybe rolling out to the right with Kyler Murray is a good idea, or trying to pitch it out to that side, but that's about it for the Cardinals. The LA Chargers also do not have a very good offensive line. Their center is their best player, so maybe inside runs with him. I have had some good success with Melvin Gordon on inside runs, so that might be something to keep in mind. Kansas City Chiefs run blocking, not very good, but their pass protection is good enough for Patrick Mahomes to be able to roll out and make some crazy passes to his really fast receiving core. Their right tackle is very strong, so rolling out to the right might be a good idea. The Indianapolis Colts have a pretty good offensive line. This might be top 5. If not, it's definitely top 10. 83, 82, 84. Their run blocking is not a lot better, but their run blocking is better than their pass blocking. But anytime you do need to pass, you really don't need to worry about getting sacked. Jacoby Brissett, he should be able to throw a good ball, and running with who's their running back? Nyheim Hines and Marlon Mack, of course, so they're going to be pretty effective in the run game. I think it goes without saying that the Dallas Cowboys have the best offensive line inside of Madden 20, and with a running back like Ezekiel Elliott and a really good receiver like Amari Cooper, the Cowboys are a very good team inside of Madden. Now, they have 87 run blocking, which is insane, especially when they have an overpowered running back like Ezekiel Elliott. So abusing the run with the Cowboys is very good. The only tip I could give here is to run it towards the right because that right side is pretty strong. After we hit the best offensive line, we see the absolute worst. The Dolphins, of course, have the worst offensive line. I don't know why. I was thinking about just skipping them completely because I don't know who uses them. But yeah, the Dolphins, good luck. Next up is the Eagles, who are the second best in the NFL. 86, 85, 86, so a pretty good run blocking as well. 86 overall, and you're not going to have any trouble with pass protection here. Eagles are a very solid team when it comes to offensive line. The Falcons do not have a very good offensive line. They are stronger at run blocking, so maybe maybe rely heavily on the run and quick passes to Julio Jones. Next up is the 49ers, and this one was a surprise to me. You don't really see the gap this big, but it's by 5 overall. The 49ers are very good at run blocking, and they're pretty good at pass blocking, but this run blocking is insane. Outside runs with the 49ers are excellent. Not much to say here with the Giants. I think quick passes to the outside to Saquon Barkley are a good option, and their right guard is their strongest player. It's unfortunate he's surrounded by some bad players. The Jaguars are next. They're pretty average. Nothing really to say here. Running up the middle with Leonard Fournette is probably a pretty good idea. 88 run blocking by the center. That's not too shabby. The Jets are pretty similar to the Giants. Pretty bad run blocking, but they do have a good running back. So some quick passes to the outside to Le'Veon Bell or Jamison Crowder might be a good option when using the Jets. The Lions are about as mediocre as it gets. Quick passes to Marvin Jones and maybe an inside run with Kerryon Johnson might be good. This right side isn't terrible, but it's not great. The Packers, as expected, very good pass blocking. You don't see Aaron Rodgers get sacked that much. And this might be actually the biggest gap. 6 better at pass blocking than they are at run blocking, which is to be expected. The Packers are pretty pass heavy. Aaron Jones is an okay running back. If you're going to run it with him, maybe to the left. And you shouldn't have ever a problem with pass blocking. The Panthers are pretty average indeed, 78 for pass and run blocking. They have a good center and a good right tackle. So running to the right obviously is a good idea as you see these 80s. Christian McCaffrey, absolute beast. Run it or pass it to the right with him. The Patriots have this, I think this is top 5, if not obviously top 10. 82 pass blocking, and what's surprising is I didn't realize that their run blocking was better than their pass blocking. You don't see Tom Brady get sacked much, but their run blocking, that's pretty impressive. An 84, their center and right guard, 90 and 89 respectively. It turns these average running backs into superstars because these guys can block for real. So inside runs, you can even run it to the left. That 78 is pretty good, and with a trap by the right guard or something, really good runs with the Patriots. And anytime you need to pass, you know Tom Brady can complete it. Now the Raiders surprisingly have a really good pass block, and it's all thanks to their center who has 94, which is insane. Usually centers, you don't see that. But that's pretty impressive. Rodney Hudson, I believe. So 94 pass block by him. I mean, interior is pretty good. You might have some trouble on the left side, but maybe just consider going towards the right, obviously, because their right tackle is pretty good. The Rams obviously have a better run block than pass block. If you're going to pass it, quick passes to the outside, and if you're going to run it, run to the outside because their left tackle and right tackle are very good run blockers. Now the Ravens have a pretty solid offensive line. Their tackles are the strength. The inside blockers, not so much. This left guard and center here. So maybe consider having your running back help block on the play, and Lamar Jackson scrambling to the outside, doing read options. All that kind of stuff will be very successful with the Ravens. This one is definitely the biggest surprise to me. The Redskins have a top 10 offensive line inside of Madden 20. They don't play like it. They play pretty terrible. But as far as Madden goes, I mean, that 95 left tackle and a pretty good right guard here, they play pretty well in Madden. Running to the right is good. Pitches to the left, pretty good. That left tackle, ooh, my God, he's a beast. So yeah, Redskins, pretty solid. The Saints, as to be expected, 81 overall, 82 pass block, and 80 run blocking. I mean, you don't really have a problem with getting sacked when you use the Saints. And outside runs and like screen passes, as we showed at the clip at the beginning of the video, is very effective with the Saints. Seahawks, about as average as it gets. One of the few teams where you see three of the same. 77, 77, 77 All 77s across the board, pretty average. There's not really much to say here. Quick passes, outside runs to the left maybe. That's about it. Next up is the Steelers, 83s across the board. And they are a top 5 offensive line inside of Madden. This is very impressive to have 83s across the board. I mean, their right tackle is the only weakness. Everyone else is exceptionally good, and you're not going to have any problems running inside. You can even run to the right. This guy right here, right guard, I think that's David DeCastro. He's an absolute monster. So, I mean, any type of run play, any type of pass play, Steelers' offensive line is for real. Now, the Texans have a pretty bad offensive line. Their run blocking is pretty terrible. They do have Laramie Tunsil, who's a decent pass blocker. So rolling out to the left with Deshaun Watson to find a wide open receiver might be your best bet. Now, the Titans kind of fell off recently. In past years, they were silently a top 3 offensive line inside of Madden. Don't believe me? Go back and play the other Maddens. They were insanely good. But this year, not so much. 76 pass block, 77 run block. Not very good. Titans have sort of fallen off. But if you're going to run the ball, Derrick Henry's a very good running back. And inside zones to him, that run block right here is pretty powerful. And finally, we finish off with one of the worst offensive lines other than the Dolphins. It is, of course, the Vikings. Pass protection, terrible. Run protection, terrible. It's surprising that Dalvin Cook can get as much yards as he does in real life because their O-line is pretty terrible. So, if you're going to use the Vikings, you're going to need to rely on quick passes because they have pretty good receivers. And Dalvin Cook, maybe outside run to the right, maybe an inside zone, but that's about it for the Vikings. And that completes our analysis of every team's offensive line inside of Madden 20. I said at the beginning, if you want to be a little bit better at Madden, one thing you can look into is your offensive line's capabilities. As you can see here on this screen pass, I know that my left side of the ball is very strong. I get a nice little block there by number 70, whatever, and the rest of my offensive line are all on a man. All I have to do is make one move, and bad user there, and I'm off to the races. So this is just what you can do if you utilize your offensive line. As you can see right here, I'm using the Rams, a very good outside run blocking team. Number 77 gets on his man. Number 66, it kind of sucked that guy in right there, and I have a wide open field. Bad user, good block by my receiver, and Todd Gurley is off to the races. So like we said before, the Patriots surprisingly have a very good run blocking skill. So look at, everyone has a man. Number 69 has destroyed that corner on the outside. Sony Michel does the rest. I'm facing a terrible user. My offensive line leads me to the promised land. That's a touchdown. Right here at the Ravens, I think I was doing a little bit of a read option. Give it to Mark Ingram. Look, the blocking is insanity. There's a hat on every hat. Really good blocking here. Bad user. The blocking is insane, and I scored touchdown. If there's ever a worst case scenario, just use the Cowboys. I don't actually have any clips. I thought I did, but obviously Ezekiel Elliott, 92 overall. He has 90 speed. That is absolutely insane. With a 94, a bad left guard, but the rest of the offensive line is insane. 93, 97, 80 right tackle. The Cowboys, obviously the easiest choice when you're looking for a really good offensive line. So I think that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, don't hesitate to leave a like and make sure you subscribe. We've been getting a lot of support on this channel recently, and it's been absolutely insane. I really appreciate it. It's pretty amazing. And I guess I'm signing off until my next video. Let me know if you guys want me to do more stuff like this, analyzing other positions inside of Madden 20. I'll be glad to do it. This video kind of took a while over here with the all this statistics crap, but I really enjoyed doing it and putting this video together. So that's it. Until my next video, freaking deuces.